Our special guest today is from ESPN College Game Day. I mean, we went deep. We can't pick the games, this and that. So we got to go get an expert. He's Chris Fallica. We're going to bring him in right now. Okay, so before we get to the laying or taking portion of the Cash Considerations podcast, because we haven't been doing so great, we've been a little bit off here and there. The college picks have been, a little bit hit and miss. I mean, we're flipping coins sometimes. We don't know what we're doing. We just went to go get maybe, the foremost expert opinion in the college football world. No, I'm not talking about Stanford Steve. No, I'm not. I'm talking about Chris the Bear Fallica. You can find him on Twitter at Chris Fallica. That's 2 L's, ICA. He's the ESPN College Game Day analyst and also the host of aforementioned Stanford Steve and the Bear podcast. Bear, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. How the hell are you?
I'm well. It's been too long, and I'm looking at your backdrop of the lovely city of Pittsburgh, where my wife is from as well. So
yes.
She's a little in the minority, though. She's you bring up Primantes and Peppies, and she's all about Peppies. So I don't want to create a debate between you and her. But yeah, whenever we go there, she's straight to Peppies and skips Primantes. She doesn't like all the fries and stuff on it.
Too much stuff. Yeah. Listen, there's a lot of shit on the sandwich. A lot of people don't like all that stuff. It's pretty damn
good, though.
Oh, it's very good. And there's a lot of things working. I know you know food as well as you know
absolutely.
Football. So, I mean, there's no doubt about that. All right. So for people that either don't know you or don't listen to the show, I highly recommend you do. It's called Stanford Steve and the Bear. It's a podcast about college football. That's your specialty. You're going to be in Vegas this week. Is that what you just told me?
Well, believe it or not, yeah. Coming into Vegas on Thursday afternoon. Kirk, Chris, and Holly will be on the call Friday night for the Pac-12 championship game, which will determine who goes to the Rose Bowl. And then a great little quick trip out there. Go see our friends down at South Point and maybe take a swing on by Circo. See, we'll get in as many of my friends as I can in like in a 36-hour trip. But I'll be back out there at the end of January for the NHC. But yeah, looking forward to it. I'm pretty sure I'll pop in and do a Guild show down on Beeson on Friday morning.
Wait. You just you buried the lead there. You'll be out in January for the NHC. Tell people what the NHC is, you horse degens.
Well, yes, horse degenerate, the National NTRA National Handicapping Championship, which you need to qualify during the course of the year. So I'm I guess it would have been 2020. I did not qualify. I was very disappointed, but I'm back. I'm back this year and looking forward to it. We had a good run in 2019, the last time I qualified, and we're looking forward to the. I guess what is it now? It's a 3-day event. You got Friday, Saturday in order to advance to Sunday, and then you make Sunday you cash. So hoping to put forth a good experience. Yeah, but we'll get out there Wednesday night. We'll play in the last chance, first chance qualifier on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, total degeneracy. It's beautiful. It's awesome.
We said it a few weeks ago on the show here when the Patriots were coming back. This is Carl's team up. He's up in Boston. Mm-hmm. We're back, bitches. Well, you're back.
Damn right I am.
You're damn right he's back in the NHC. So get ready for that. But before that, we got college football going on. First question. What the hell's going on with these college football coaches, Bear? What is going on?
It's freaking insane. Like at some point, like the economics, I don't know how they just don't completely collapse. It's almost like European soccer right now with these ridiculous contracts being paid. And look, I'm never going to say you're only worth what someone is going to pay you. The optics certainly look bad with Brian Kelly bolting Notre Dame with a team that isn't without a chance of making the college football playoffs this year. And then probably the number one candidate to replace him is at Cincinnati and Luke Fickell. So if there's an opportunity, like if Notre Dame just says, hey, Luke, take it or leave it right now, what's he going to do? But yeah, the optics aren't good. The economics don't look good, but it really just goes to show like the laughability of the people. Oh, we don't have any money for the players. Like, There's always money. There's always a booster who's got deep pockets. There's always an oil well in Texas that Texas A&M can divvy up and boost the athletic program. The money is there, and this is what we were worrying about with players. Like, what would happen when a player decided to skip the college football playoff? Now you're having a head coach who, in theory, could be skipping the college football playoff. So God bless them for being able to make whatever they can, but it certainly doesn't make you feel like warm and fuzzy about the sport.
No, it doesn't make you feel warm and fuzzy at all. In fact, it makes you want to get on a plane, and maybe we could ask Lincoln Riley, because he's got used to the plane like unlimited, and we could just say, hey, where can we go? Speaking of planes, how do you travel when you come to the games? You and the boys, I've seen some of these videos, these behind the scene videos. It's fantastic. Tell the people how you travel.
Well, if college game day is at one spot in the morning, well, from Hartford, it's just a normal to and from home. It's just a normal commercial flight. But if we are at, say, for instance, last week when we were in Michigan for the Ohio State-Michigan game in the morning for college game day, and the ABC primetime game was in Stillwater for Oklahoma State, we get a nice little private jet, very comfortable, very enjoyable.
A lot of room for you.
Ann Arbor, Michigan, and Stillwater, Oklahoma, to just kind of kick back. We're able to watch the Ohio State-Michigan game, grab a little bit of a quick little power nap, grab some lunch. You don't got to deal with TSA pre-check and going through a terminal. So it's certainly an added perk of, unfortunately, having to leave that Ohio State-Michigan game at halftime last week. But to be able to travel like that, we're very lucky and fortunate that the company takes care of us like that.
Don't bullshit me, Bear. How cold was it at that?
It was, I'm not going to say the word.
You can say the word.
It was effing cold. Like standing on the set, like the set, like when I first got up off the set to go over to the little side segment there to do the college football playoff discussion, my quadriceps were frozen. And then when we got out on the field, at first it was just little flurries. And then I'm like, this is like legit snow. And it was, fortunately, it wasn't windy like it was on Friday night, because it was really windy on Friday night and the wind died down. But it would have been windy to go along with the cold. It would have been brutal. Fortunately, I hear we're going to be inside some fan fest area this week in Atlanta. So no outdoors this week, even though I think the weather's going to be nice down in Atlanta. So outdoors, I'm sure at the Meadowlands, or whatever we're calling the complex now, MetLife Stadium,
right?
Giant Stadium, whatever. It'll always be the Meadowlands to me. Growing up in the Northeast, for Army Navy next week, which is always one of my favorite shows of the year.
Right,
awesome game.
So this week, right, you were at that Ohio State-Michigan. I mean, you want to talk about a great scene, a great game. It was incredible, right? Then you get on a private jet, you fly to Bedlam, and you get to watch that game.
Yep.
I'm not asking you to pick, but I mean, have you had a day like that? You saw two incredible football games that almost everything could have happened.
No, it's very rare we get to stay for a part of a game that then have to leave and do a game later that night. I can remember a couple of years ago, we did the Pac-12 championship game on Friday, the Utah-Oregon game, where Oregon won and pulled the upset and knocked Utah out, and then flew to Atlanta and stayed to watch Joe Burrow and LSU beat Georgia in the SEC championship. We've had some instances where we've had, I think we did a semifinal with Clemson and Ohio State one year in Phoenix, which was great, and then went and did a Rose Bowl the next. Like, we've had stuff like that, but not in one day like that. We've had instances where we've had a show in the morning. Like, I can remember in 2016, we did a show in Seattle where USC and Washington were playing, and then we had to fly to Iowa, and that was the day that Iowa, as a big underdog, upset Michigan. So we've been in like great spots, but not necessarily caught both games. But yeah, it was, Saturday was one of those days, and I said it, if you're like a neutral college football fan, if you're one of these people who are just, we want different teams, Saturday was about as perfect of a situation as you could have gotten. You got Oklahoma knocked out, you got Ohio State knocked out, you got Clemson knocked out, and you were this close to getting Alabama completely knocked out.
Alabama should have been out. That was,
I know. And here I am. I'm holding Alabama at plus 160 as a college football playoff. No. So like now I'm like in the position, like if Auburn would have won the game, I'm golden because it's a straight money line hedge. Play Alabama on the money line this week. It's easy. And I'm guaranteeing myself a ton of money. Now it's like, well, can Alabama make it if they lose? And like, do I wait?
Can they make it if they lose, Bear? Seriously, that's some bullshit. They can't.
I don't think they can. Like, if you're telling me Cincinnati loses, Oklahoma State loses, Alabama loses, and you're dealing with a bunch of Michigan loses, you're dealing with a bunch of 2-loss teams, and you got to take 1 or 2, then maybe they do take.
Maybe,
but I can't see it at all. So I'm going to wait and see. Maybe someone will still post a yes, no, and I'll figure out what I can. What I can do from here, but I got a nice, good early price because I ultimately thought that Alabama was going to lose to Georgia, at least in the SEC championship game. But I did get I did almost got it last week.
So, I mean, obviously we're going to tell people you and Steve are going to record the show tomorrow and you'll give your picks and stuff on that. So I don't want to bury you here with picks and stuff.
No, you're fine. We could talk about something. But I mean, one thing I do like, I think people are going to jump the gun a little bit with Michigan and Iowa. And I think people are going to really gravitate towards Iowa with Michigan coming off that big win over Ohio State in double digits. Like, Iowa's in this game because basically everyone in front of them just kind of dribbled down their leg, to be quite honest with you. Like, I mean, yes, Michigan has to bounce back off of the biggest win that they've had in years. But if they bring that defensive intensity, like, I don't know how Iowa's going to score. Like that's maybe it's a dead under game. But I'd feel pretty good about laying the points with Michigan, even though it is a pretty big number.
Team total Iowa under. Whatever it comes.
Yeah,
I think
you'll see some books.
Yeah, that's the way to look at this thing, I think, because they get 2 field goals and a touchdown, most likely, at most. I don't think they score. If they score 2 touchdowns, they don't kick a field goal. 14 is the highest I think they can score. I would be shocked if they get more than that. The total in the game is 43.5. So if you do the math, I mean, I like Michigan too. I did you like them before the Ohio State game?
I played Michigan in the Ohio State game only because I was holding a CJ Stroud Heisman ticket at a nice number, and I figured taking Michigan plus the points was a little bit of a way to kind of hedge a little bit against it, just to be safe. And who knows? I mean, maybe the Stroud ticket still could be live if Alabama gets beat and Bryce Young doesn't look good. Like someone was asking me before, is Stroud still a good play to win the Heisman? And I'm like, this is a market that I want nothing to do with. Yeah. Like seriously, at this point, like, you're just going to be chasing money with bad money and just bad prices. Like I made 2 Heisman bets until I bet Stroud. I played before the year. I played Trevor Henderson, the Ohio State running back, at like 65-1. Okay. And then right after the Texas game, I got it on Caleb Williams at Oklahoma at like 55-60-1. Right. And I played Stroud at like plus 550 or 600 or something like that at some point, just because I could see the path down the road that Walker was going to lose, Alabama was going to lose, and who was going to be the favorite. So I figured I'd get ahead of the train, and I did. They just happened to lose on Saturday and kind of screw things up. It's
still like we only got a week left of games. We don't know who's going to win.
No, seriously, if you're honestly saying like who the best player in the country is, it's probably Will Anderson at Alabama, but not enough people are going to vote for a defensive guy. And I've always said this too about how Heisman voting, it rarely goes to the best player in the country because people see big number stats. They want to vote for a quarterback or a running back on one of the top 4 teams in the country. And now the top 4 teams in the country, they don't really have a quarterback or a running back they can vote for. So like they're stuck and they have no idea what the hell to do.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Boys, I'm going to throw it to you. Hit the bear each with a question. CH, what do you got for the bear here?
Well, I really want to ask the question that Newbie's going to ask, so I'm going to let him ask it because I know where he's going to go. But my question is going to be, I'm reading your bio on from the press room, right? And it says you started your ESPN career as a PA/tape operator in 1995 for ESPN Radio. Did you imagine 25 years ago when you were doing that you'd be jetting all over the country in a private jet?
Hell no. Not you always hope and dream. And I can remember when the person from research came over to talk to people like, hey, I heard word got around like this kid's a college football savant type of deal, that the college game day position for research was going to open up. And it was like, you got to be kidding me. And then it was funny. I even said this a couple of years ago when I was working the Final Four with Dick Vitale, sitting courtside with Sean McDonough as well. After the game, Sean and I fly to Augusta to work the Masters, and I'm sitting at the Masters, and I'm saying to myself, if I could go back and tell like 17-year-old Chris Fallica that, oh yeah, 25, 30 years from now, you're going to be sitting working in the Final Four at courtside with Dick Vitale, getting in a plane with Sean McDonough, who at the time was it still is one of the best play-by-play voices around, and then you're going to be going to the Masters and sitting next to Curtis Strange and Scott Van Pelt and Andy North. Like, are you serious? like, is that real? I mean, so like, it really is just one of those kind of like ultimate dreams. Like I could never have imagined that something that you really would love to have thought you could do, that you're actually sitting here doing it.
Yeah, and it doesn't just happen. I mean, that has to do with the years of work that you put in, the grinding that you had. So it's not just like it fell into your lap. Right. See, these guys get to do all the heavy lifting, so I get to ask the question that everybody really wants to know. And it's, you've been to all these college towns. You've been here, there, and everywhere. So I'm wondering, is there any college town that stands out to you cuisine-wise as the best food or the best single food item that you've had in any of these college towns? Because, I mean, there are all these late-night eats, man.
The best place, the number one place that I love to go in terms of a college town is the Smoking Pig Barbecue in Pendleton, South Carolina. It is, people talk about Dreamland and other places for barbecue. Smoking Pig, just outside Clemson, South Carolina. You get yourself some chicken, you get yourself some sweet potato, twice stuffed baked potato, mashed potato. Oh, it's to die for. That's the one college spot. But if you're looking for one of my favorite, like I think my favorite restaurant that I've been to and encountered on this little junket is in Atlanta. It's a place called Soto Soto. It's an Italian place that is. I mean, I've been to Italy a bunch, and the stuff that they serve there rivals it. Now, I'm very partial to Carbone out there, and I'm sure Gil will probably want to drag me there on Thursday night.
That's his place. He always wants to go there.
Soto Soto in Atlanta, if you get there, is somewhere where you're going to want to check that out.
They fuel up the jet, man. We're all going. Soto, get some barbecue too in South Carolina.
Put it on the list. I mean, that sounds like a weekend trip. Maybe we could shoot down hopefully by then we'll be big time. We can go to the Masters and meet the bear, and he can take us around.
Fly into it. Like you can fly into Atlanta and spend the night in Atlanta, grab dinner, then drive up for a Clemson game and stay in South Carolina, grab yourself a little dinner at Smoking Pig, and you're good to go.
Book it.
I'm actually going to be in South Carolina for the whole month of January, and I just looked up how far it is from where I'm staying to the Smoking Pig. My wife doesn't know it yet, but she's in for a 3.5 hour ride for lunch.
So you're going to be east. You're not going to be upstate.
I love it. All right, before we let you go, so I was going to ask you about your journey, and hopefully we'll have you back when you have some more time. Maybe in the off season, we'll come on. We'll tell the whole story of how you got from New York down to Miami to go to college and go through that hurricane stuff and all that other. I mean, I love it. You were there, pretty good time and all that. But you got business to take care of. Never saw him lose a
home game.
What's that?
Never saw him lose a home game while I was there. It's right in the middle of the 58 game home winning streak.
Do you remember when they went to Penn State in the game of the century? I believe it was 1992. They were ranked 1 and Penn State was 2. It was It was 17-14 that year, and then the previous year, Miami had it held on late. I think it was like 26-20 one year in the Orange Bowl, where I think Penn State got in position late, and Miami barely held on. But I can remember that. I think it was 17-14. It might have been that game in '92.
Human database.
It came in. We sold T-shirts. I know we sold T-shirts for the fraternity. I made a little bit of money. And then Miami won and kind of took the air out of the sales. Still angry about it.
The funny thing is, like, Penn State it's so funny, like, growing up, like, Penn State was my first college football love, because I have a lot of family in Eastern Pennsylvania, and they were obviously all Penn State fans and tickets and went there. So, like, being a kid from Long Island, like, we didn't have much college football to fall back on. So whenever I would go to their place, it was Penn State. And then it's just funny that 86 was the Fiesta Bowl game, and then the games that they wound up having in the early 90s, and then that game in 99, which was a pretty crazy game. The Shafi Fields catch there down at the Orange Bowl.
Yeah,
the wild game too.
All right. So last question. Are you really an Adele fan? Like
I like her. I love her voice. I think she's got a great voice.
Man,
I am not embarrassed to say that I enjoyed that concert very much.
Love it.
And you sign off. You should definitely go, because I mean I wouldn't have considered it, but I saw you put it out on the Twitter at Chris Fallica. You said you liked it. You would go. Wife, it was a good show. So
she is very, very funny. She's got a little potty mouth on her. Nice. Like in her show, like she gets with the way she interacts with the crowd.
It's like British people. That's like they got the potty mouth. They let that
she's normal North London. Oh yeah, she's
very
and super talented. I'm actually hoping I can go when I'm out there for either the NHC or if I can get out there during March Madness. I'm hoping that might be able to be a play too.
Anything you need when you come out, you let me know. I'll pick you up at the airport if I have to, whatever. We'll go get something to eat. That'd be great. But he's Chris Fallica. It's at Chris Fallica on Twitter, ESPN College Game Day analyst, also host of the Stanford Steve and Bear podcast, which will drop tomorrow, you said?
It will. Yeah, at some point tomorrow on Wednesday afternoon, we'll knock it out.
Okay.
And the column will be out on Thursday morning.
All right. Tell Steve that I said hello.
I will.
And that he still owes me a shirt. He'll know.
No, we got to get a few more of those shirts made. They made such a small number, thinking nobody would want them.
Yes.
And then I literally had to give mine away that I hadn't worn yet.
Shirt off his back.
I literally gave the shirt back. Literally the shirt off my back that I had never worn because someone really wanted the shirt. I'm like, you know what? I can get another one. And ever since I haven't been able to get another one.
It's unbelievable. This is what happens, right? This is what happens when you do this stuff. Well, when we get the Cash Can Sid merch, you're going to get a shirt.
Perfect.
The first run, I think, is going to be Nobody Knows Shit. I think that's what we're going to put on there with the logo.
You got to have that closing line value. What's it worth?
Oh, we're saving that for next time. He's out of here. That's Chris Fallica, the CLV. You can find him again at Chris Fallica on Twitter. Thanks again, man. We'll talk to you soon.
You got it.